Hey there guys, welcome back to another Java video on my channel. Since I showed you the concept of having multiple types of constructors, one with only one parameter and one with only multiple parameters, and you can also have one with no parameters over here, since I showed you that, it's a good time for me to show you the concept of function overloading. So before, let me just try to explain you with the constructors. What's going on over here is, since constructor is also a special type of function, it works as a function only. Just the thing is that the constructor is automatically called as soon as when you create a variable or a class object. So what's the concept of function overloading is, see this is having only one string parameter, this is having one string and one integer parameter, right? So I am having two functions of same names, right? Just the different parameters. So you can say that there can be functions having same names but different things inside them. Like, say for example, I can have a function with return type, a name, and an int parameter, and I can have a function with some other return type, same name, and same parameters. I can have another function of some different return type and same name, and again a different parameter, right? So that's what I'm going to show you over here. Okay, so let's just get to this. So what are we going to do over here is, Java automatically matches the parameters you're using, the return type you're getting when calling the function, to the function definition. Like for example, in this over here, we are only passing one parameter to the constructor. So Java matches this to the definition of a constructor of a function which has the same number of parameters and same types. So Java automatically matches this with this over here, and instead of getting confused between these and this, it calls this. So basically what it does is, let's think for it like this. You call a function right? You call car constructor. Okay? Java gets confused. Okay, there are two cars. One is this and one is this. Which one should I call? Let me check what are the parameters the user gave. Okay, user gave only one parameter. That means I have to call the car function with only one parameter. Oh, here it is. I'll just call it. Okay, and then it says for this, hey, user again is going to call a car constructor. Let me just call it. Again, there are two car constructors. So which one should I call? Let me just check the number of parameters user gave me. User gave the first parameter, which is a string, and a second parameter, which is a number. Okay, is there any constructor like that defined? Yes, there is one constructor which has first parameter as string and second parameter as integer, just like it is written over here. So let me just call this one. So that's how Java works in the overloading part. And to simply define the overloading, I'm just gonna simply use the hello class and not the car class, because that will make it much easier. And I'm gonna remove this error right here, because I had something else in mind, but now my mind has changed. So what I'm going to do over here is, I'm going to declare a sum function, public static sum. It's gonna take two integers and I'm going to return the sum of them. Return x plus y. Okay, and now I'm going to take another function, another same function. I'm gonna name it as float. Sorry, return type as float. Sum float x or float y. Let me just change this float to double, because double Java uses mostly we use doubles in Java instead of float, because that's better. So I'll just use double over here. And in the definition, I will again return the sum return, what do we return? X plus y. Okay, and over here we print this. We call this is the use of static function. I don't want to create any object, but I want to use these functions, so I can literally use them like this. Hello dot sum. I'm gonna enter two integers first, and then I'm gonna copy this and paste this, and I'm gonna enter 2.2, 2.4, and just 4.4. And just to show you that which function is called, I will print it. Function 2 called, and similarly we can print function 1 called. Okay, now if I run this, see what happens. See, the thing is, I'll get this 0.00005 to later on in the next some video when I will discuss about the precision about doubles. So let's just get to this thing. When we start running this and we call hello.sum, Java sees that there are two sum functions. One is this and one is this. Which one to call? Java gets confused. So Java sees first what is the return type of this function, and pretty much over here it can return anything. It can return an integer, it can return a float, it's perfect. So Java again gets confused, because it can, over here it will be correct if it returns an integer or a double. It will be correct in both the ways. That's why it ran for the second thing as well. So Java still gets confused. So Java then moves inside the function over here and sees what type of parameters were passed to it. So Java now sees that this is an integer, and Java now compares if there is any function which has first parameter an integer named sum. Yes, there is this one. Then Java sees the second parameter, this is also int. Then Java compares it with again both of our sum functions. So this one has a double and this one has an int. So for Java it makes more sense to call this function rather than calling this function. Then it again checks for the second parameter. Again, this is also int. So Java has now a perfect match for this function and this function, because both of the parameters over there are an integer. So this function is called. But now I am passing the parameters as float in the next one, as a double, as a decimal points. So again, we call the sum. Java gets confused which one to call, either this one or this one. Java checks the return type. It gets nothing about it, because pretty much anything returned over here will be fine, because we are printing. So Java moves in and Java checks the parameters now. Java sees that there is two double parameters which are being passed to the function. So now Java sees that, yeah, okay, there is a parameter, that now Java matches them. This function will not be matched because this has two integer parameters. This function will be matched because it has two double parameters, so this function will run. Now let's just do this thing. Int x equal to hello dot sum 2, 4. And similarly double y equal to hello dot sum 2.2 comma 4.4. So now what happens is, this is a better way to explain. Java sees the hello that the sum function is called. Java gets confused. It checks everything. The return the function requires, the parameters the function has taken. It says the return the function requires is an integer, and the parameters the function has taken are 2 integers. So this corresponds to this, because this function has a return type integer and 2 parameters and integers. So it calls this function when over here. Now in case of this, it again gets confused that the sum function is called again. It gets confused either which sum we are meaning over here, this sum or this sum. So it sees that, okay, our function requires a double return type and is taking 2 double parameters. So it says that this function is taking an the integer return type and integer parameters. So this over here does not means this. Then it says, that comes to the next sum function. It checks that this sum is returning a double integer, double data type, and taking 2 double parameters. So yeah, this must be it, and calls the second function. So this is basically a function overloading, having two functions of same name, differing in parameters and return types. This will help you to check, like say for example, you can have 2 different functions, say some double and some integer, but that might confuse you, that whenever you have to sum an integer, you will have to call sum int. Whenever you have to sum a float, you will have to call some float or some decimal, like that. But the function overloading simply helps you to that you only need to remember sum, and you can simply call some values, and Java will automatically manage which sum function it requires to run to. So for example, for the double parameters, it only required the double parameters to run, and for the parameters integer return type integer, it required the first function to run. So Java automatically managed that. Similarly, there is the constructor overloading. Java sees what parameters are passed to the constructor and manages which constructor to call automatically according to that. So experiment with these. If you don't understand anything, please leave their doubts in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel for future important stuff. I'm just gonna end this video here. If you have any doubts, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.